I've spent the last few years trying to decide whether or not to buy a Vanagon. The decision finally came through this year, and while I thought I was prepared, I clearly wasn't, as my Vanagon was being towed away after just 1 month of ownership and 0 trips on the van. While the van looked great, in excellent condition from the outside, even on the inside, there wasn't a lot of signs to indicate that there were problems, but there were. And hopefully over the next few minutes, I'll give you some insight into what problems I faced with van ownership within the first few weeks and possibly could have avoided had I known what to look for. So here I'll go through a few points and hopefully you can take something from it. I inquired about the spots on the van and was told, oh, this is just a bit of discoloration, but this is actually mold. And while my bleach water mixture didn't quite work well, what I had next certainly did. So pretty much a night and day difference. The only thing I would say is to be very cautious when you're spraying the material. So again, we use Tilex because, as you can see in the back, we actually now have a little bit of discoloration where the bleach has discolored the fabric. Still a few spots of mold, but I'm just going to touch those up, and rather than using just a straight spray out of the bottle, I'm going to dampen a cloth and see how that works, because I don't want to get this entire canvas tinting damaged the way it was damaged in the back. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. It's one of the products that's out there that I thought worked really well. Again, I've included that photo, and there still are a few little spots, but again, I'm just going to do like a little touch up, maybe with even like a Q-tip, just to kind of touch some of these little spots up. You can see a little, because I'm sure it will just keep growing if you don't kind of get it all out. And I guess one thing I really liked about the material, the spray materials, that I didn't have to scrub at all. So the previous owner, or an owner at some point, must have scrubbed and therefore removed some of the flocking. One thing to look out for when purchasing your Vanagon is all of your window seals. I had no indication when I purchased this vehicle how many leaks I actually had, but you know, really upon closer inspection, I should have been more thorough. Some of these windows, you know, you can see the additional silicone that someone's tried to apply rather than just properly fixing some of these issues, which really, if you don't fix them, you're going to run into a lot of problems with rust as water leaks down into the seam of the door and causes you heartaches down the road. So yeah, something to definitely look for as you are inspecting your new van. This vehicle was in amazing condition when you look from the exterior. The paint, everything looked great. Interior wise, same. When I asked about the situation with the pop top and any sort of mold, they just said, oh, well, there's some staining. And I thought, well, that's possible. It's a 40-year-old vehicle. But as you can see, it's been a couple days now where we sprayed and it cleaned up so much of it. There's still a few little spots that I'll very gently, using a cloth, clean that up. But otherwise, you really need to, I think, if I were to purchase another Vanagon, which I really like this one, so I have no intention of doing that, but I would certainly change my approach to my inspection before the purchase and get into the details around some of the door trim, just to see what's going to be involved, because right now it looks like we're going to be replacing not only some of the side seals and maybe even the side windows. The more I look at this, we might have to replace some of this unless I'm told that you know, they can just reseal it with proper silicone where I wouldn't have an issue. But yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to change out this seal, and also on the front of the vehicle, perhaps either the windshield seal, definitely the door seals, but it might mean replacing the windshield if they end up damaging it in order to reseal that. So more to follow, but definitely as you're doing your inspection, looking at a new to you vehicle, be thorough, go through, look at all the seams. And you know, it wouldn't be such a bad idea to say, if they're opposed to going through like a car wash, then even just get the garden hose out and give the vehicle a spray, looking for any possible leaks if they're not already obvious, or if the owner is telling you that there are none. So something to consider. So in conclusion, what I've tried to do is just give a quick indication of two areas that I faced with a bit of assistance. I think I could have figured this out. Again, just really seems so obvious now as I own the vehicle that I should have done some checks with possible water leaks, but it is becoming more and more of a problem for me, and I have ordered a seal for the windshield, a new windshield seal, and along with the window in the previous video that you saw, which had some water leaking on it. So I'm going to replace those two seals, and hopefully with that I'll end some of the water leaking kind of down in the driver and passenger wheel wells, and I'll stop seeing any more water coming in on that side door. I did remove the panel, as I showed, where there doesn't appear to be any issues with rust buildup. One thing that someone did at one point was spray in some rust proofing material. So that was great that was sprayed in. But, you know, again, a little bit more of an inspection on your initial purchase is going to save you money down the road, or at least perhaps when you negotiate your purchase price. All right, my next video I'll put out will hopefully see those two seals that have been installed on the front window and the side door.